speaking of Street Fighter 6,
Mhm.
last week, last week or the week before, I should say, dude, I have to give Capcom some credit because I remember I slightly gave them a bit of criticism for adding modern controls on
Mhm.
Street Fighter 6, but I'm gonna have to give them major credit because when all of my nephews and my nieces came over, they played Street Fighter 6, and while they were playing Street Fighter 6, they were enjoying the game so much. That's all they wanted to play,
Mhm.
and that was because they were on modern controls.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, uncle, look what I did! Look what I did! Look what I did!" And I'm watching them play, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was actually enjoying watching them play the game because they were truly having fun playing the game. They're doing all these different combos in the game, and I'm saying to myself, hold up, what Capcom actually did was a good thing. Capcom actually did a really good thing here. And obviously people are going to say, well, if you need to get good, practice. And I have to say this, there's just a lot of games out there that people are just have a very difficult time being good at a particular game, especially if you're going to compare them to the pros or to the hardcore gamer. People are just not, there's, even if they want to learn, it's just very difficult for them to be at that level, for some, just for some odd reasons. And it's a lot of games are that way. Like me, for example, when it comes to simulation racing games, I suck. No matter how hard I try, I suck at racing simulation games. No matter how much I try to practice in them, I am not good. I'm always in last place when I face the AI. Let me ask you one question before we actually start our topics. I'm very very curious of asking you this. So
Mhm.
as you were talking, I was watching. Let me look for. I'm watching this video, which is pretty
Mhm.
much Street Fighter. Now they're using modern controls.
Yeah.
What I wanted look, when I was at Soul's house, we was testing modern controls, and the combos were very easy to do.
Yeah.
Do you think it should be allowed in tournaments?
That's funny you should ask because there was a guy in top 6 that used modern controls.
And that's why I asked you the question, because I completely forgot to ask that question when we was talking about it last week.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think it should be allowed because what Capcom did, yeah. Because what Capcom did, and I'm glad they did this. Okay. Yes, you offer modern controls, but there are drawbacks to using it.
Mm-hmm.
There are drawbacks to using it because I guess from what I remember, you can't use certain normals. Like there are certain like how when I don't know, it's hard. You would know more than me, but there are certain combo setups that you can only do in classic mode.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, there's only certain things that you can do, and that's the trade-off. Because if you were able to do everything that the pros did but use modern control, that would be unfair.
Okay, and that's when you would probably say, okay, it should be banned from tournaments.
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. But because they made certain sacrifices to modern controls, I actually think it's a smart thing. And the reason why I understood why they added it was because when you go online to watch people play Street Fighter, because remember, a lot of people now go online for their content. They're not watching, even on basic TV. They're not watching video of Street Fighter on regular TV. So they go online to watch it, and you see all these guys doing these crazy combos, and you can't do them.
Yeah.
So with modern control, and even when I was in the beta, I was using modern controls because I didn't know how to switch it. But when I was playing with modern controls, I was doing stuff that I would never be able to do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned the trade-off, because what I noticed is that when I played Gao and I was using the modern controllers, I noticed that I don't know if you ever played with Gao, but there's two sonic booms he has. There's one where it's just a regular sonic boom, but there's one where he says it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's faster and causes more damage. You will never be able to do the perfect sonic boom in modern controls.
Yeah.
It's just the original one. And so when I experienced that, I said to myself, okay, look, modern control is nice. It's nice, but as someone who's been a hardcore gamer and's been playing classic controls, since I was a kid, I would always take classic controls over modern any day of the week. And because I think one of the reasons why for me, and everybody has different tastes, but
Yeah.
dude, it was, I don't know if you felt this way. It was so satisfying being able to do certain combos that it took me so much time to learn. Like, for example, I remember when I was a kid, it was so hard for me to do the Raging Demon. So hard for me to do the Raging Demon. And then when I was finally able to do it, it was just so rewarding, so satisfying. Now I could do it at will. Like, I could do it like easy. Like that, I'm pretty sure you can too. Like it's mad easy. But to have the satisfaction of learning the actual combos and learning, all the different move sets and whatnot, I think is much more rewarding than doing it in a modern control. Now, obviously, if a casual gamer or little kids, they're probably not really going to care. Like they will just all they care about is the finesse and all the flashy stuff and whatnot. They're not going to really care. And I witnessed that with all of my nieces and nephews, and even my sisters, my older sister. They were like, "Oh my gosh! Like I'm playing Street Fighter. I haven't played since I was young." And dude, everybody was enjoying the game. and last thing I want to mention before we move on. So my nephew, Joshua, shout out to him. He wanted to try Street Fighter 5. So he played Street Fighter 5, and immediately he said, "Oh, this is classic controls. Man, this game sucks." He literally played like 5 minutes, and he went back to Street Fighter 6. So once again, this really helps the casuals and people who just want to do all these flashy moves, and Capcom did it in a way like how you mentioned with the trade-off. It keeps both people happy, and I agree with you. I think it's okay that it's on tournaments. However, if by any means like there was no trade-off, then it should be banned. It completely should be banned. But hey, this was actually a very good discussion. I'm really glad.
I agree. I agree with you. But I do want to add one thing. When it comes to modern controls, for people I think the same with you. When I use people who I'm not familiar with, is great. It's great to use. But when you're playing with someone who you've used for a long time, like Guile or Ryu, for me, then it just feels weird using modern controls.
Yes.
It feels weird because you know the inputs that they're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it won't come off because that's not how modern controls are set up.
Correct.
So it kind of just throws you off. So that's why I only use classic controls. I rather, like, I do agree with you. I rather learn how to do the moves step by step than only pressing like one or two buttons.
Right.
I rather learn. But like I said, it is. The thing is that for modern control, it is for that reason, to get casuals to play the game and to really, really feel like they're doing something in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. I agree with you. Like I agree with you. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, it is good. I'm actually going to edit this part too.
Yeah.